Welcome you all mm, for the current growth equation in presence of secondary process. So in the previous concept we discussed that there is an electron which is produced in the field of electric, that is nothing but E. When we are giving the supply, this is a supply, there is an liberation of electron. This liberation of electron is going to be from cathode to the anode in the field of electric field, and there is a formation of the free electrons. Then there are the different types of the things which we discuss in Townsend first ionization coefficients. So alpha, this is nothing but alpha, which is described in the presence of the electric field. It is going to be enhanced because of the electric field. That is nothing but alpha is nothing but Townsend first ionization coefficients, in the per centimeter in the direction of electric field from cathode to the anode element. When the single avalanche process will be explained, means will complete when the initial set of the electrons, these are the electrons, I can say electrons will reach to anode from cathode to the anode. This is what the Townsend first ionization coefficient. And alpha ionization coefficient, alpha first ionization coefficient is going to be add some of the electrons by, means the number of the electrons is going to be enhanced because of the electric field. Other than that, some of the mechanisms are, this is nothing but positive ions liberated may have sufficient energy to cause the liberation of the electrons from the cathode. So this is nothing but not only electrons, which are the positive atoms A plus, which I explained the previous, that is also responsible, for the secondary process. Then we have excited atoms or a molecule in avalanche may emit the photons, and this will lead to the emission of the electron due to photo emission. That is nothing but radiation with the matter. That is nothing but the electrode, excited atom. We know that all the atomics having their some vacancies in the outermost layers, vacancy band. So suppose we could able to give that much energy, there is a possibility of the liberation of the electrons from the atom. Then we have metastable particles may diffuse back, causing electron emission. Metastable, we know that normal electrons having the lifespan of 10 to the power of -8. This metastable having the larger lifespan, that is 10 to the power of -3. This will lead to that there is a formation of the secondary process. So we can say it is gamma. Alpha is for the Townsend first, gamma is for the Townsend secondary ionization process. Gamma is equal to 1, 2, 3. Okay, what do you mean by 1? 1 is because of the positive ion, photon, excited particle or metastable element. By adding up all those things, then we can consider it is the Townsend secondary ionization process. Let's see, this is the equation they will ask. That is the derive the expression for the current growth equation for the Townsend secondary ionization. I will consider that NO dash is the number of secondary electrons produced due to secondary process. So because of these things, photon, positive ion, excited particle, metastable element, then this is nothing but NO double dash. These are the total number of the electrons leaving the cathode here. These are the leaving the cathode. So how much is the total number of the electrons which are leaving? Then I can consider that leaving N0 double dash is equal to N0. N0 is nothing but initial number of the electrons which are liberated because of the electrons by the supply and by the UV light which is falling on the element. This is nothing but N0. N0 dash is nothing but number of the electrons because of the secondary process. Then the total number of the electrons reaching to anode becomes, that is nothing but n is equal to n naught double dash. N naught double dash is nothing but electrons leaving the cathode, that is can be substituted as n naught, initial number of the electrons which is the presence across the cathode element, plus n naught dash is nothing but because of the secondary ionization process, the number of the electrons which are liberated, into exponential value of alpha d. So by rearranging this n naught dash, I have to calculate what is the secondary ionization process is equal to gamma is because of the secondary ionization process, number of the electrons which are liberated is equal to n minus n naught plus n naught dash. By eliminating n naught dash, we can able to get n is equal to n naught exponential value alpha d divided by 1 minus gamma exponential value alpha d minus 1. So this is nothing but electron, I can say it is current. I is equal to I naught into exponential value alpha d divided by 1 minus of gamma exponential value alpha d minus 1. So this is nothing but the average current in the gap before the breakdown of the gases. So this is important, you need to remember for the secondary coefficient. What are the criteria for the breakdown? So we know that I is equal to I naught into exponential value alpha d divided by 1 minus gamma exponential value of alpha d minus 1. So this is the current which is required before the breakdown occurs. Suppose if the distance d increases, then the denominator function it is tend to be 0. At this point d is equal to ds, we know that it is I is equal to I minus gamma into exponential alpha d minus is going to be 0. Suppose the value d is less than ds, then approximately the current will become I naught. If suppose the external supply, I can say it is nothing but the supply which we are making is removed, then the current I will become 0. Then second condition, if d is equal to ds, then the current will become infinite, and which is limited by the resistance. That is nothing but we have some resistor in the diagram that is going to limit resistance of the power supply and the external circuit. Then this condition, the condition for the Townsend breakdown criterion, the condition is called the Townsend breakdown criterion. This is nothing but 1 minus of gamma exponential value of alpha d minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, so this is, we know that normally exponential value alpha d is very large because of the ionization coefficient. So then what I mean to say, this is nothing but we are going to making right hand side. So this is nothing but gamma into exponential value alpha d minus 1. So this is nothing but gamma into exponential value of alpha d is equal to 1. So this is very value is very large. Okay, infinite something minus 1, I can say it is infinite value. So this is nothing but gamma into exponential value of alpha d is equal to 1. So these are the three things we should understand when this is a gamma into exponential value alpha d is equal to 1. This is the condition for the threshold sparking. So there is a formation, there is a continuous formation of the charge between the cathode and the element. There is a spark which is appearing, means continuously there is a growth of the charge formation between the two electrodes. How actually we could able to see during the formation of the lightning. Then if it is greater than 1, okay, gamma into exponential value of alpha d is greater than 1, there is an successive avalanche. So there is a formation of the path between those two, and once it is reaches the critical point, there is a possibility of the breakdown may takes places. This is the condition for the greater than 1. Then if it is the less than 1, the current is not self-sustained and it will retain and come back to normal position. So these are the three things we should understand. That is equal to 1, greater than 1 and less than 1. It is the Townsend criterion for breakdown phenomenon. Next topic is breakdown in electronegative gases. It has been recognized that high breakdown strength to a gas is the electron attachment, in which free electrons get attached to a neutral or molecules to form a negative ions. So by this phenomenon, we can be able to increase the breakdown strength of the gas. Because of the ionization and the collision, there are the n number of the electrons which are liberated between the two electrodes. So there is a possibility of the breakdown may take place at the low voltages. So by using these free electrons means by attaching attachment process, if we can able to remove the free electrons, then there is increasing the breakdown strength. So there are the two different type of the theories which is trying to explain, or one is because of the direct attachment, another one is dissociative attachment, in which the direct attachment electron directly attached to form an electron negative, that is nothing but a negative ion. In the second case, dissociative attachment, this will split into their constitutive atoms and forming electronegative atoms. So like some of the examples of the gases are oxygen, sulfur hexafluoride and freon and the carbon dioxide. Generally this is the AB is nothing but A plus B. A is sulfur or carbon, the B generally it is of the oxygen. Okay, so these two are the formation of the electronegative gases. We can choose so what kind of the breakdown strength we wanted to extend. Then attachment coefficient we can explain in a similar way of the alpha. Alpha is nothing but Townsend first dimension coefficient. This is nothing but the number of attaching collisions made one electron drifting 1 centimeter in the direction of the electric field. How we explain for the Townsend first and the second ionization process. Then coming to the next topic, times lag for breakdown. So what do you mean by times lag? In the previous concept, what we discuss is the spark breakdown is considered as the function of the ionization process. It may be a primary coefficient or the secondary ionization coefficients. So what we understood is it is not depending upon the voltage. It is not depending upon the what kind of the supply we are giving. It is mainly depending upon the Townsend first and the second ionization coefficient in the direction of electric field because of the positive atom or metastable element, whatever it may be. But here, whereas in the case of engineering, so the breakdown due to rapidly changing the voltage, it is of the great importance. Like I can say, in place of AC, let you go for DC and the impulse. Whereas in case of the impulse, the time duration of the which the supply is very less. So the Townsend criterion for the breakdown is satisfied only if at least one electron is present in the gap between the electrodes. Let's say example of AC. I have to give the AC supply in such a manner that there should be some effective way of the electrons across the cathode element. Slowly I need to vary the auto transformer. Then there is sufficient number of the electrons which is liberated. Then continuous the formation of the ionization. Then these electrons will form a collision or ionization process. Then moving from cathode to the anode element. So what I understood is at least one electron should be present. Other than the supply, there must be a UV light which is falling on the element. But whereas in case of the DC or the AC, DC or slow varying, the voltages, there is no difficulty in supplying this. But what will happen? Whereas in case of the short duration, like 10 to the power of minus 6 of the impulse voltages, directly the lightning, so I have to do the simulation that directly the energy will hit to the ground within a microsecond, or sometimes it may be a second. So I could not able to satisfy the theory. So the initiatory electrons may not be present in the gap. Then what is that? There is a time t which lapses between the application of the voltage to sufficient to cause the breakdown and the presence of the initiating electron is called the statistical time lag of the gap. So what we understood is voltage sufficient to cause the breakdown and appearance of the electron, initiating electron. So it is nothing but what actually we see and supplying will be, there is a time difference between these two. Then we can say it is Ts. That is nothing but statistical time lag. Then the appearance of electrons is usually statistically distributed. After the appearance of the electrons, a time t is required for the ionization process to develop fully to cause the breakdown of the gap. Then this is nothing but we can call it as formative time lag. Because you should understand the difference between statistic and there is a formative time lag. It is statistically distributed. We are assuming that it is statistically distributed. But whereas in case of the practical, it is a scattering. It is not statistically distributed. Then this is what there is a formation of the time lag. This is nothing but a breakdown with the step function of the voltage by considering that the impulse voltage. So this is nothing but Ts. Okay, statistical time lag. This is nothing but the formative time lag. So we have to vary in such a manner that there must be some electrons which are liberated at this point and go on increasing. Okay, then go on building the number of the electrons because of the ionization process. At this moment when the voltage is sufficient to cause the breakdown, suddenly there is a breakdown will takes places. So then what is the total time? Total time is equal to statistical time lag plus formative time lag. So what are the responsibility for the formation of the statistical time lag? Statistical time lag is mainly depending upon the pre-ionization particle which is present. So if it is DC and the AC of slow varying, there must be enough time which is the formation of the electron, and also is depending upon the size of the gap, okay, distance between the electrode and the quantity of the radiation resulting in the primary electrons. So this is nothing but other than this, we are making that there is an UV light which is falling on the element. These are the responsible for the formation of the statistical. Okay, then this is nothing but the formative time lag is mostly depending upon the mechanism of the avalanche growth. Avalanche growth is nothing but because of the positive ion, secondary electrons, okay, photo emissions, all those things plays an important role. This is nothing but transit time of the positive ion from anode to the cathode. Means this is from cathode to the anode. This is nothing but because of the anode to cathode will predominant contribute to the formation of the formative time lag. Usually formative time lag, which you can see here, it is very less compared to the statistical time lag. Hence the total time lag which we are using to calculate for the formative time lag. Hence formative time lag is mainly determined by using the total time lag.